What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to perform an analyzation of a overhead squat movement. We're going to start with a overhead squat with a normal movement, and I'm going to show you the differences between a normal movement and a overhead squat with a faulty movement. Next, I'm going to create 10 hypotheses on what may be wrong with the athlete and then create 2 corrective exercises in order to correct the athlete's form to get it back to normal. So for the start of this movement, we have the overhead squat from an anterior view. Everything looks perfectly normal here. When it comes to the lateral view, everything also looks perfectly normal. This is the athlete's normal position for an overhead squat. Now we have the posterior view of the overhead squat for the athlete in the normal position. Now next, we're going to get into the faulty area of the overhead squat. The athlete's currently performing from an anterior view a fault with an overhead squat. Now we have the same fault but performed from a lateral point of view. Next, we have the same fault as well, but from a posterior view. So now we're looking at the NASM overhead squat analyzation paper. As you can see, when it comes to the anterior view of the foot, I put no for the right and left foot for turning out because there's no foot turning out. When it comes to the knee moving inward, there's no knees moving inward for the right and left, but the knees do move a little bit outward here. That's perfectly fine. When it comes to the lateral view, he does have excessive forward lean. That's the main fault that I analyzed through this overhead squat movement. His lower back does not arch, but his lower back does round a little bit near the end of the lateral view video. When it comes to his upper body, his arms obviously do fall forward as well. From the posterior view, same thing here. When it comes to his foot, his heels do not rise on both feet. His feet, both feet do not flatten, and there's no asymmetrical weight shift for either side. So now looking at what I analyzed here, the main 3 faults I analyzed were the excessive forward lean, a slight lumbar background, which is directly correlated to a posterior pelvic tilt, and the arms fall forward. So when it comes to my 10 hypotheses, the one I chose to be the most major fault here was the excessive forward lean. So the 10 hypotheses I came up with for this is a possible weakness in the back extensors. This is likely here. Short abs. This is also likely. Spinal bony deformity. It's possible, but it's unlikely. Same with lumbar kyphosis. It's unlikely, but it's possible that the client has unfamiliarity with this exercise, which converts to motor control. He also might have limited ankle mobility. This is likely here, but when it comes to limited hip mobility, this is a hypothesis, but it's unlikely. When it comes to another hypothesis, I have the short knee extensors, which converts to limited knee flexion mobility. This is likely, but it's also not a full possibility. It's also unlikely that there's spinal cord pain, but there's a possibility. And then the last hypothesis I created was possible weak lats, which is also likely. Now when it comes to 2 corrective exercises, they're going to be shown next after this portion of the video, and the 2 I chose were to strengthen the back extensors and as well as to stretch the abs or trunk flexors. So now I'm testing my first hypothesis here, which is the weak back extensors. I'm currently strengthening the back extensors of the athlete. He is laying prone on the bench. As you can see here, I'm performing manual resistance on the client as he is performing trunk extension, and I am pushing him into trunk flexion in order to strengthen his back extensors. Now for my second hypothesis, which is the short abs, my second corrective exercise is going to be to stretch the abs or trunk flexors. As you can see, the client is going into trunk extension, and I am helping him, allowing him to slowly move into that trunk extension in order to stretch his abs, as abs are trunk flexors. And so that was the overall goal of that exercise, as I provided support for him throughout his range of motion until he went to his end range, as he is hypothesized to have those short abs. But now I'm just deadlifting, as you can see, 455, pretty cool. So that is the end of this video for the analyzation of an overhead squat for a client. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I also hope you guys enjoy this video of me squatting 405, which is also pretty cool. But yep, that's it. So thank you.